All right, let's go over Unit 6 practice test, part 1. First one we have is, what is the sum of the degrees of interior angles of a 19gon? So keywords here, sum of interior angles. This is something you should write it down in your note card. These keywords, sum interior angles, automatically tells me that I'm using the formula n minus 2 times 180, okay? N is the number of sides. In this case, 19 is the number of sides. So that is what you're substituting in for n. 19 minus 2 times 180 degrees is going to give you the total sum for a polygon that has 19 sides. Okay? You should be able to enter this exactly as you see it in the calculator, parentheses and everything all at once. Please take some time to practice doing that, and you should get 3,060 degrees as your answer. Okay, so that is how you're going to do this one. Now, for number 2, okay, we kind of have to work backwards here. We are told that the sum of interior angles is 1,800. How many sides does it have? Okay, so I know that sum interior angles, that automatically tells me that I'm using the formula n minus 2 times 180. But this time I know what it equals. I know that it equals 1,800. Okay, so we need to solve for n essentially. And we need to solve this in using order of operations, the inverse of order of operations. So the first thing, if I'm working backwards in PEMDAS, that's going to mean that I need to divide out the 180 from both sides. Okay, so I end up with n minus 2 on the left, and 1,800 divided by 180 equals 10. Then I can add 2 to both sides. So my number of sides is 12. Now, this would be a good time to go back and double check. If I were to substitute in 12 back in my n, okay, and I put that in the calculator, the whole thing just as I see it, 12 minus 2 times 180, that should give me 1,800. That's how you can go back and check, did I do this question right on the test? Okay, so always go back and substitute in your answer, make sure that it works out. Next one. What is the measure of an interior angle of a regular nonagon? So a few things happening here. This part, an, means one of the angles. Okay. And nonagon means 9 sides. Remember we talked about, memorizing the words on the table. Nonagon is on there, so I need you to know how much that means. That means 9 sides. So using the formula, when I'm finding just one angle, I need to do n minus 2 times 180 divided by the number of sides, because I just want one of them. So you're still going to do the n minus 2 times 180, but this time you have to divide by the number of angles. So we're going to substitute 9 there and there. Take it one at a time. Do your numerator first. Okay, you want to put in the numerator. When you put the numerator in, you get 1,260, and then divide by 9, because I only want one of the 9 angles, and I know they're all going to be equal because it has the word regular. When a polygon is regular, that means all the sides and all the angles are equal to each other. That's why I can divide it out equally into 9 angles. So then each angle comes out to 140 degrees. It's really important that you go ahead and do that in 2 steps in your calculator. Otherwise, it might give you the wrong answer because it doesn't know order of operations. Number 4, what is the sum of, so again, keyword sum, exterior angles of a 25gon? I'm not even going to highlight the 25gon because this is one that you should know. We talked about how it doesn't matter how many sides, what polygon, it does not matter. Every single time, exterior angles will add up to this magic number. Doesn't matter how many sides. It's always the same thing. If it's the sum of exterior angles. They add up to one magic number, and that number is 360 degrees. Always. It doesn't matter how many sides. Okay? The sum of exterior, always 360. But taking it a step forward with number 5, if I'm asking you for each exterior angle, this is one of the things that you should probably write down in your note card. If I say each exterior, that means I'm going to take the possible exterior angles and divide it, by the number of sides that I'm talking about. So exterior is always 360 altogether. But if I'm talking about one individual exterior angles, it has to be a regular polygon, and then we just need to know how many sides it has. In this case, a decagon has 10 sides. So I'm going to take the 360, that's the sum of exterior, and I'm going to divide by the number of angles and sides. In this case, that's 10. Therefore, each exterior angle is 36 degrees. Moving on to number 6. Number 6 has a lot going on, so we're going to take it slowly here, okay? Let's start off by labeling what we have. First, we have JM is 27. So JM is here, and this is 27. Then I have ML. ML is the bottom part, and that's 16. Then I have JL. JL is this diagonal, and that's 46. NK, let me use this one, is 15. This right here. Then I'm going to talk about my angles, but I'm actually going to answer the questions regarding the sides first, because then I'm going to erase this to kind of help us out. Okay, first one that I'm looking for is KL. KL is here, okay? In parallelograms, the opposite sides are congruent to each other. So this one, I literally look straight across, and that is the measure of KL. The side opposite to it and KL are going to be congruent. So 27. Perfect. Then I have JK. JK is up here. So again, opposite sides are congruent. Therefore, JK is going to also be 16. All right, so I'm done with those. Let me erase and clear it a little bit. Okay, the next thing I have is MK. MK is this diagonal, the whole thing. I want to find the whole thing. So if you remember in parallelograms, the diagonals, that's the lines that go across, they bisect each other, okay? So they cut each other in half. The only thing we're given is that the top piece is 15. But because they bisect each other, that means the bottom part is also 15. So if I'm looking for the entire thing, I'm going to take the 15 and the 15, which makes this 30. Because again, the diagonals bisect each other. Okay, perfect. And the last one we have is NL. So NL is kind of working backwards from what I just did. Originally, I was given JL, the whole thing is 46, but this time I'm only looking for half of it. And again, it's being bisected, so I'm going to take the 46, which is the whole thing, and then split it up into 2, which means each one is 23. So this is 23, and this is 23. And that's how I find those segments. Okay? Now I'm going to clear my picture because the angles, I need to label the angles, and it'll just make it easier. So we have KLM. KLM, remember to go from the letter, follow the exact order. So this whole thing is 48 degrees. Okay. Then I have JKM. So J to K to M going this way. This is going to be 78 degrees. And the last one I have is MJL. So from M to J, and then down the middle, L is 22 degrees. Okay, finding the missing angle. So the first one I'm looking for is JKL. So again, going in that order, I'm looking for JKL, which is this whole thing. So something we talked about is that these are parallel lines, okay, parallelogram. And if I extend them, this angle and this angle are going to add up to 180 degrees, okay, because they are consecutive angles. So I already know that this whole angle down here is 48, and I want to know the whole angle above that. So in order to find that one, I'm doing 180 minus 48, which gives me 132. So that's the first angle I'm looking for, okay? Now I want to find KLJ. So KLJ would be from here to here to here. This one right there, okay? So KLJ, in this case, I have to use some information about alternate interior angles, because here, if I were to extend this diagonal, okay, let me clear my picture a little bit. I'll come back to those. So I am looking for this in light blue now, and it actually corresponds to the 22 degrees because they're alternate interior angles. So this one doesn't require any math. You just kind of have to look at and know what you're looking at. Again, this one and this one are alternate interior, therefore they are congruent. Next one I have is KMJ. And I'm just going to clear the picture. I'll relabel here in a second. KMJ goes from here, down here, and up. So this one. Okay. Here's the other information I knew. I was already given this one. This was 78. And let's see, this was 48, the whole thing. But then this part was 22, and this part was 22. Okay. If I know that this whole thing is 48 down here, and this piece is 22, I can fill in that this piece is 26, and this piece is 26, and that's gonna actually answer one of the next questions. But right now I am looking for KMJ. So how am I going to figure out what this one is going to be? Another strategy we could use, because this is 48 and we figured out this whole thing was 132. Well, 132 minus the piece that I already knew means that this leftover part is 54. And this 54 is alternate interior to the one I'm looking at, which makes this also 54 degrees. Okay? The last one, KJL. So from K to J to L. Oh, I went backwards. Hold on. Undo. From K to J to L, this one. Okay, I already labeled that one, and again, that was because this one and this one are alternate interior, just like 22 and 22 were alternate interior, so they equal the opposite measurement. So this one can also be labeled as 26 degrees. So this one's a lot. When you get to this one on the test, just clear the picture, label everything. If you need to erase your labels and do it again for when you're doing the sides versus the angles, definitely take time to do that. Okay, the last one, my picture looks kind of weird, but it's okay, I'll fix it. We're looking for the values of x and y, given this is a parallelogram. So this one is 13x plus 15. And I know that opposite sides in a parallelogram are congruent, so I'm going to set it equal to this one, which is 19x minus 9. And you're just solving for x. So I'm going to subtract 13x to both sides. 15 equals 6x minus 9. Add 9 over. I get 24 equals 6x. And divide both sides by 6. So x equals 4. That goes in my first blank. Okay, and then to solve for the y's are right here. So again, what do you do when the two angles are right next to each other? The two angles are going to add to 180. So I have 4y plus 7, and the other angle is 10y minus 37. Together they add to 180. So before you start moving things around on this one, make sure you are combining like terms. So I have 4y and 10y. Together that gives me 14y. And then I have 7 minus 37. Please use your calculator for that. You get negative 30. And then you start moving things around and solving for y. So add the 30 over. We end up with 210. 14y still on the left. Divide by 14. And we get 15 for y. That goes right there. If you need to go back and pause the video so you can, go through the process of the algebra a little bit more slowly, you can totally do that. But this is the end of the practice test. So take some time, go back, put in some information on your note card. Again, some of the things I would definitely suggest is the terminology. Anytime you see sum of interior, you should be using the formula n minus 2 times 180. When it says each interior, you should be doing n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. If it says sum exterior, it's always 360. It doesn't matter how many sides. And then each exterior means you're going to take the 360 and divide by the number of sides. So this is definitely something I suggest you put in your note card and then understand how to use it.